So I debated with myself over the past few days whether I should do this or not. And it's not the kind of thing I usually do. And I feel kind of dumb doing it. But I think I decided that if I can even help one person in any tiny way, that's more important than me feeling stupid. So I've had more friends die due to mental health issues than I can count on my fingers now. And I can't help but feel that in most cases, and probably in 99% of cases for most people in the world, if they had failed, they probably wouldn't have tried again. And so I figured I'd share my story and why I won't ever try again. And that might be helpful to someone, hopefully. So, when I was 18, or maybe, a little bit earlier, the voices I heard and the things I saw became more of a problem to me. More, I don't know, like something changed and they became damaging to me and my health, and they became menacing, more so than ever. They became a problem, and things got worse, and I ended up in a psychiatric hospital where I lived for half a year, maybe. And it was bad. Things were bad. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who I was, or what was happening, or why. But the people around me decided that I was too much of a danger to myself, and that I needed to go somewhere and take a break from life. So I did, and I came out 6 months later, and I'd lost everything pretty much. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my home. I lost my job. Because of multiple circumstances, I lost any money I did have. I lost contact with my friends, and that wasn't necessarily their fault or my fault, it just happened. And I ended up being dumped in a shitty council flat that was unlivable at first. And I was lucky enough to have people around me that cared about me. And my mum made sure that it was turned around and it became a livable space for me. But it was still a very, very bad neighbourhood. Very, very bad neighbours. Lots of dangerous people. And things weren't better. I did my time in a hospital, and you get out. That's what happens, and it doesn't always mean you're fixed. And I guess at some point after that after moving in there, this was the last time I tried to kill myself. I was 20 years old, and this was that time, and I was very determined. I took a ridiculous amount of medication, antipsychotics and sedatives, and I sat on the bathroom floor, and I just decided it was all too much, and there was no hope for me leading a decent life. And so I took a handful of pills and I cut myself, and I took another handful of pills and I cut myself, and another handful and cut myself, and I thought, that'll do it, you know. And one of the last things I remember doing is texting my mum and saying, it's not your fault. And then I don't remember much until I got taken to hospital, and I slept or was unconscious or whatever you want to call it for a reasonably long amount of time. And I woke up and I couldn't move at all. I couldn't. I'm assuming I opened my eyes because I feel like I could see things, but I couldn't move my arms or my legs or my fingers or even move my eyes. I could just stare straight up, and I was like that for I don't know how long. It felt like forever, and I was scared. I felt like I was going to be a vegetable for the rest of my life. I felt like I assumed I was paralyzed, and yeah, I was scared. I was like that for longer than anyone would want to be trapped in their own body and unable to move. You know, it was scary stuff. I remember seeing people around me and seeing how what I had done had affected them, and I knew it would, otherwise I wouldn't have texted my mom. But I got to see it, you know, I got to see what it did to people, and I felt really guilty, and I was just trapped there. I couldn't do anything, and it felt like not only had I affected them, if I was going to be a vegetable, I would have affected them worse than if I hadn't even tried, by being a burden to them. So after, I'm assuming, a few days, I don't even remember the details. It was so hazy, but I stumbled out of the bed, attached to wires and drips and things like that, and then I was okay. I have possibly, due to this, liver damage. Despite the fact I never drank a drop in my life, I have liver damage. I'm 33 years old. So, I guess the thing is, I was glad it didn't work. I was pleased that it didn't work. I don't know if I was grateful at that point in time, and you know, lots of my brain was saying I wish that I had succeeded, and that would be easier for everyone if I was gone. And yeah, I can say, at least now, 13 years on, I'm very glad it didn't work. And I don't know that if I'd had that failed attempt, close call, whatever you want to call it, I'm not sure I'd be here today. maybe I would have tried another time and not been so lucky. And I do see it as lucky. I feel lucky. And I'm not telling you that it fixed everything. Life was still very difficult after that, you know. I still lived in a shitty flat, and I still was suffering from schizophrenia badly, and I was cutting myself on a daily basis, sometimes 50 times a day, and those scars are on me forever, on my arms and my legs and my chest, and I haven't done that in 5 years, and I hopefully will never do it again. But my point is, this close call happened, and it didn't fix everything, and I carried on doing these things, and I had multiple times, pretty much, well, no, every single day, I felt like it would be more right, morally, or whatever, I'm not sure how to word it, but it would be more right to the world if I had succeeded, and if I had gone, and that I should try again. But I never did, and I think it is because of how lucky and pleased I felt that I had failed. Yeah, sorry, I'm stumbling my words here, but I guess my point was, it didn't fix everything, and I think maybe a lot of people, I mean I was at the time, looking at suicide as a fix for things, and I assume a lot of people do. It will fix the fact that they're miserable, and it will fix the fact that they're struggling, and it will fix the fact they feel like a burden on the world and other people, and I still wake up and feel like it would be better for everyone if I was dead, and I still feel that it would be easier for me to not be here, and I still struggle. I'm still bullied and haunted by the voices that became malicious in my teenage years, and I still see things that aren't there, that threaten me, and I still feel like I am wrong and that I shouldn't be here. As a kind of moral thing to the world, I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm a cancer, and I don't think I'll try and clarify on that. I don't feel like I do wrong things. I don't hurt people. I try and do good things. I don't do bad things. Yet I feel, not think, I feel that I'm just wrong as an entity on this earth, in this world, however you want to word it. I feel wrong, and I feel like a disease or a cancer, like a tumor that's just weighing down everyone around me and everything around me. And I can use logic to say that that's maybe not true, and that implies that I'm more special than other people. You know, it may be saying that I'm bad, but it is also saying that I'm special and individual, which is not true. I'm just matter on a large ball of matter, like anyone else and anything else. You know, and I still feel all these horrible things, and not as much, but everything's relative, and every pain people feel is relative, and someone may have suffered massively in the past, and improved, and still feel like it's the worst thing ever because it's relative, and because that's the pain they're feeling at the time and it's consuming. And I've improved massively since I was 20 years old. I live a life that I'm happy to live, despite the fact I still feel and think the things I do, and I still have the troubles I do. I'm still glad that I stayed. I'm glad that I stayed, and I wish all these people that I can no longer count on one hand, or two hands even, sorry, I think they would be glad that they stayed, but they didn't have the chance. And I wish everyone would fail their first proper attempt at suicide. I wish everyone would fail, because I think they realize it's just not what they needed. Pain is relative, things change, life is unpredictable, and that for me is the saving grace of things. I could sit here and think about how shitty things might be tomorrow, but I don't know that. It's unpredictable, and things could be great tomorrow. And I think that's enough. I really do. And I have happy moments. I'm sat here talking about how I still struggle with things, and that's entirely true. But it's so easy to focus on the difficult. It's so easy to focus on the depression. It's so easy to focus on the struggles that you forget that maybe the ratio of good to bad is a lot more favorable to the good than it may feel when you're feeling this way. And I am glad that I've experienced the things I've experienced, the good things, and I'm glad that I probably will experience more good things. And I'm not spiritual, I'm not religious. I don't believe that when you die there's anything there. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's a truth, or that's how I see things. That's with the evidence I've been presented, I've come to my own conclusions, and that's how I feel. There is no spirit, there's no after, there's no place we go, and that is I guess the way I summarize it in my head is the fact everything is pointless and inconsequential and doesn't lead to anything, as in life doesn't lead to something, in my opinion, is wonderful. That's a really good thing. It's the very same thing that made me, one of the things that made me want to go in the first place, that made me want to leave, that made me want to die, was the fact that it's all hopeless, there's no point, blah, blah, blah. But that's great. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can just try and enjoy what you do have, and try and enjoy what's there, and enjoy what's coming. And dying is just as pointless, if not more pointless, than staying alive and seeing what happens. It's all pointless, maybe, and that's fine, that's cool. But yeah, I'm glad that it stopped meaning that I had to go. The fact everything was pointless, and that doesn't now mean I have to go. That means I can just like ride on this kind of blank canvas and see what happens, and enjoy it as much as possible. And I'm talking about how much I struggle when things are bad, but my life itself is good, and it wasn't when I was 20. The aspects of my life outside of my mental health issues, weren't good, and they are now. And this is, that's 13 years on. Things take time, and the thing about suicide is it's the only thing at the time possibly that's immediate. That means you can deal with it immediately, and I'm still dealing with my stuff now, 13 years on, and I'm not fixed. But I'm improved, and sometimes I struggle to see that because I'm living in my mind, in my body, and everything is it's so hard to imagine a state from 12, 13 years ago and compare it to a state now, emotionally, and feeling that, it's difficult to do that. And I maybe haven't said anything too clearly positive yet. I mean, I've tried, but I'm trying to be realistic about it at the same time. And I guess I'm just saying, you might think that the right thing to do is to go, and you might think that that's the only way, and you might think that things will never change. And I thought that, and sometimes, and with relativity, I still feel it now, but I know that things have changed, and I know that things have improved. I have evidence, which time has given me evidence, and I probably still have a long way to go. But if the current data is anything to go by, I should continue to improve. And the difference between now and 13 years ago is immeasurable, in a good way. And it's hard to feel that, but I can think it, and I know it's true. So I'm going to keep going, and I won't ever try it again. And hopefully that can be helpful to someone. Things do change, and as eternal as something might feel, it probably isn't. Life changes all the time. History shows that things have changed in big ways, and they've got better and worse and better and worse. And I think it's just, I'm glad I failed. I'm very glad I failed at killing myself. And I guess I hope maybe that story can be helpful to someone. Bye bye. Love you.